Okay, today we are going to look at complex analysis, and we are going to start with complex numbers. Now, complex number is a number made up of two parts, a real part and imaginary part. It is usually represented as Z is equals to A plus BI, where A represents the real part and BI represent imaginary part. For instance, Z is equals to 2 plus 3i. 2 is a real part while 3i represent a imaginary part. Now let's look at conjugate number. Now what is conjugate number? Conjugate number is the opposite of the complex number. It's the vice versa of the complex number. For instance, Z is equals to A plus BI. Now the conjugate of Z, it will be A minus BI. So as simple as that. Now let's go to another subtopic, addition of complex numbers. Now we add these numbers are as usual. Now if Z1 is equals to A plus BI and Z2 is equals to C plus DI. Now how do we solve this one? Now Z1 plus Z2 is equals to A plus BI plus C plus DI. Now we open the brackets. It will be A plus BI plus C plus DI, and we separate the real part and the imaginary part. Now the real part is A plus C, while the imaginary part is BI plus DI. Just as simple as that. Let's look at an example. If Z1 is equals to 3 plus I and Z2 is equals to 5 plus minus I, find Z1 plus Z2. Now we have Z1 as a real part and imaginary part, while Z2 as a real part and imaginary part. Now Z1 plus Z2, it will be 3 plus I in brackets plus 5 minus y in brackets. Now we open the brackets and we find 3 plus I plus 5 minus I. Now let's separate the real part and the imaginary part, which is 3 plus 5 and I minus. Subtraction of complex number. If we are going to use with the previous one as the addition of complex number. Now if Z1 is equals to A plus BI, Z2 is equals to C plus DI, then Z1 minus Z2, it will be A plus BI in bracket minus C plus DI. Now we open the bracket and we will find A plus BI minus C minus DI. And now we categorize the real part and imaginary part, and we find A minus C in brackets plus B minus D in brackets. Outside the bracket there is I. Now let's look at the example, and we are going to use the same example as in addition of complex numbers, which was Z1 is equals to 3 plus I, Z2 is equals to 5 minus I. Find Z1 minus Z2. Now we are going to find it just as it is as simple as the addition part. Now 3 plus I in brackets minus 5 minus I in brackets. Now let's open the bracket. When we open the bracket, it will be 3 plus I minus 5 plus I. Now our answer will be negative 2 plus 2i, and we mark the end of subtraction of complex numbers.